Alcohol makes a promise. It promises relief after a hard day, confidence when you feel uncomfortable, sleep when your mind will not shut off, fun when life feels dull, escape when something hurts. And for a little while, it can feel like the promise is real. But alcohol never gives anything without taking something back. It gives you an hour of relief, then steals your sleep. It gives you a temporary buzz, then leaves you anxious. It helps you forget tonight, then makes tomorrow harder. It tells you that you need it to cope, while quietly making you less able to cope without it. That is the lie. Alcohol does not solve the problem. It delays the problem, adds a new one, and then offers itself as the solution. This video is based on my book, Alcohol is a Lie: The Truth About Drinking and How to Break Free. I wrote it for anyone who is tired of going in circles with alcohol, tired of blaming themselves, and ready to see drinking for what it really is. I know that cycle because I believed the lie for years. I stopped drinking completely a few years ago, at the age of 41. But through much of my 20s and 30s, I struggled. I would stop for weeks or months, feel better, and convince myself I finally had things under control. Then I would drink again. Alcohol cost me jobs. It drained my money. It strained relationships. It made my anxiety worse. It was clearly not improving my life. And yet I kept returning to it. Why? Because part of me still believed alcohol had something valuable to offer. I thought it could help me relax, sleep, celebrate, escape, or just make an ordinary night feel better. Then one night, that story finally collapsed. I could not fall asleep. There was an unopened 12-pack of beer in the refrigerator, so I drank 6 beers and went to bed. A little while later, I woke up with my heart pounding. I put on an old Apple Watch and checked my heart rate. It read 145 beats per minute. My normal resting heart rate was usually in the 60s or 70s. But that night, and through much of the next day, it stayed above 100. Even walking to the bathroom sent it climbing again. For years, I had treated the anxiety after drinking as if it were just a mental weakness, something I should be able to think my way out of. But this was physical. It was measurable. My body was telling me what my mind kept trying to deny. Alcohol was not helping me. It was hurting me. And once I saw that clearly, I could no longer pretend it was harmless. Before I go further, one important note. If you drink heavily, drink every day, or have experienced withdrawal symptoms, do not assume you should detox by yourself. Speak with a medical professional, because alcohol withdrawal can become dangerous. Getting help is not weakness. It is the smart way to protect yourself. Most people do not begin drinking because they want to damage their lives. They drink because alcohol has been attached to nearly every human emotion. We drink to celebrate. We drink when we are grieving. We drink because we are stressed. We drink because we are bored. We drink to become more social. We drink to reward ourselves for surviving the week. The message is always the same. Alcohol will add something that is missing, but look closely at what it really does. If you drink because you are anxious, the relief is temporary, and the anxiety often returns with interest. If you drink because you are stressed, the stress is still waiting for you in the morning, along with poor sleep and a foggy mind. If you drink because you are lonely, it may numb the loneliness for a few hours, but it cannot create real connection. Alcohol pauses discomfort. It does not resolve it. That is how the cycle forms. You feel bad. You drink to feel better. You feel worse later. Then you want another drink to escape the new discomfort. The product helps create the very feeling it claims to relieve. When people struggle with alcohol, they often blame themselves. Why can everyone else drink normally? Why can I not stop after one? Why do I keep going back after promising I was done? Those questions create shame, and shame makes the cycle stronger. But struggling with an addictive substance does not mean you are defective. It means your brain learned a pattern and began expecting a reward. You were also taught a story from the time you were young. Movies, advertisements, songs, celebrations, restaurants, vacations, and social traditions all present alcohol as normal, sophisticated, relaxing, and fun. Then, when the product causes trouble, the person is blamed for failing to control it. Seeing that contradiction matters. Not because it removes personal responsibility, but because it replaces shame with understanding. You do not need to hate yourself into changing. You need to see clearly enough to stop wanting what is hurting you. A lot of people try to quit through force. They pour everything down the drain. They swear, never again. They white-knuckle their way through a few days. They spend every evening arguing with themselves. That can work temporarily, But willpower gets weaker when you are tired, lonely, angry, stressed, or surrounded by temptation. The deeper change happens when your perception changes. Imagine someone handed you a glass and told you it contained poison. You would not sit there feeling deprived because everyone else was drinking it. You would not need heroic discipline to leave it alone. You would see it differently. That is the goal with alcohol, not to spend the rest of your life mourning something wonderful that you are forbidden to have. The goal is to recognize that it took more than it gave. You are not losing your source of peace. You are removing something that disturbed your peace. You are not giving up your ability to have fun. You are learning that the fun came from you, the people, the music, and the moment, not from the alcohol. You are not losing a reward. You are ending a punishment that had been disguised as one. Clarity is powerful, but cravings can still come. A craving is not a command. It is a learned signal. Maybe 5 o'clock arrives, and your brain expects a drink. Maybe you have an argument. Maybe you pass the store where you used to stop. Maybe you feel restless and think, just one night will not matter. The urge may feel permanent, but it is a wave. You do not have to defeat it forever. You only have to let that wave pass without acting on it. Name what is happening. This is a craving. It will pass. Then change something physical. Stand up. Walk outside. Eat something. Drink sparkling water or tea. Take a shower. Call someone. Put on a movie. Go to bed early if that is what gets you through the night. In the beginning, protecting your sobriety is productive. You are not wasting an evening by distracting yourself. You are breaking a loop that may have taken years to build. Social pressure can be another trigger. People may ask why you are not drinking. Some may tell you to have just one. Others may insist that you never had a problem. You do not owe them your entire history. You can simply say, I feel better without it. I am not drinking tonight. Or, I do not drink anymore. That is enough. Your decision does not need to be approved by someone who will not live with the consequences. Quitting alcohol does not make every problem disappear. In fact, some feelings may become louder at first because you are no longer numbing them. Stress is still stress. Grief still hurts. Boredom still exists. Life still has difficult days. But now you can actually deal with those feelings instead of postponing them. Talk to someone. Write down what you are feeling. Walk. Exercise. Pray. Sit quietly. Get professional support when you need it. The point is not to become a person who never feels discomfort. The point is to become a person who can feel discomfort without destroying tomorrow to escape tonight. That is real strength. When people imagine sobriety, they often picture restriction. No drinks at the barbecue. No beer during the game. No cocktails on vacation. No wine after work. But over time, sobriety stops feeling like a list of things you cannot do. It begins to feel like freedom from things you no longer have to do. You no longer have to negotiate with yourself. You no longer have to calculate how much is left. You no longer have to wonder what you said. You no longer have to wake up ashamed, anxious, dehydrated, or exhausted. You no longer have to lose a morning because of what you did the night before. You begin waking up clear-headed. Your weekends become longer because you are present for them. You have more money because the cost was never only the alcohol. It was also the food deliveries, bar tabs, rides, impulsive purchases, and wasted days. You have more time. You regain trust in yourself. And perhaps most importantly, you discover that joy still works. Music still moves you. Laughter is still real. A good conversation still matters. A sunrise still looks beautiful. A road trip is better when you remember all of it. Alcohol did not create those experiences. It was simply standing in front of them, taking credit. And if you drink again, do not turn one mistake into a surrender. A slip does not erase every sober day or everything you have learned. Pause. Tell yourself the truth. Ask what triggered it. Adjust your plan. Reach out for support. Then begin again immediately. Shame says, you ruined everything, so you might as well keep going. That is another lie. You are not back at zero. You are continuing with more information than you had before. Perfection is not the requirement. Honesty and persistence matter more. Alcohol promises relaxation, but it creates unrest. It promises confidence, but it slowly weakens your trust in yourself. It promises connection, but it can isolate you. It promises freedom, while building a cage one habit at a time. The good news is that the door is not locked. You do not need to wait for rock bottom. You do not need a dramatic disaster. You do not need anyone else's permission. You can decide that you have paid enough. You can stop buying the lie. And on the other side, You may find something alcohol could never give you: a clear mind, a steady life, real peace, and the freedom of knowing you no longer need a drink to become yourself. This video is based on my book, Alcohol is a Lie: The Truth About Drinking and How to Break Free. I wrote it for people who are tired of going in circles, tired of blaming themselves, and ready to see alcohol differently. You can find the book by searching Alcohol is a Lie by Brandon Murray on Amazon. But whether you read the book or not, remember this: you are not broken, you are not alone, and it is never too late to choose a different life.